Hey, you're the sucker. Apparently, there's a sandbagging issue within Formula Drift. In the last FD video I made, which thank you guys so much for the support on that video. It's doing phenomenally. I really thank you for that. There were quite a few comments saying that I didn't address the apparent sandbagging within Formula Drift, particularly from two drivers, Dmitry Brutsky and Hiroya Manoa. So I decided to make this video where we take a deep dive into it. But before we get into it, we gotta look at the history real quick. There are two events that come to mind: FD Utah 2022 and FD Irwindale 2023, both of which won by drivers where in their lead runs they were slower than most people, which in turn caused a lot of collisions and sloppy driving. Now, FD Utah, the driver was Ken Gushi, and there wasn't a lot of noise about his driving at the time. Most people just said, let's go, Gushi got another win, good for him. But when Nick Novak won in FD Irwindale during 2023, there was a lot of noise. The left foot brake kid, Nick Slowback, there was a lot of hate pointed towards Nick. I bring this up because in this video, it's gonna get a little controversial. This is inherently a controversial topic, and I have quite a strong opinion towards it. And in no way, shape, or form am I bringing hate to any driver, but more so I'm trying to bring awareness to the situation at hand. I'll say it right now, Gushi's and Novak's story relates more to what's happening with Manoa right now. Brutsky, well, that's a bit of a different story. Dimitri's is very different from Hiroya. And yes, we are about to look at Lone Star Derp as evidence, but they provide great evidence. And no, I'm not gonna play the audio because it will absolutely just ruin my eardrum. So you can go back about 8 to 9 weeks and check this post out. But this lead run by Dmitry Brutsky, let's take a look. Tons of angle. That is just choking up, right? Choking up the angle. Chase driver, I'm surprised he didn't hit him. Now here is a second run. Now this is not safe. As you can see, he is slamming on the brakes and he is going extremely slow. And Ben Hobson chasing him is struggling to keep it behind him. This is purposefully going slow throughout a track in order to gain an advantage. This is not a 100-point lead run, which is the job of the lead driver. This is dangerous driving, which I want to make clear right now. I don't hate Dmitry Brutsky. I never have. But this sort of driving is not something we can compare to the driving I'm about to show. This is just straight up dangerous because at this point, Ben is a car back in order not to hit Dmitry. And you could see from Dimitri's front wheels, he's just on the left foot brake the whole time. Now, to be fair, it seems like it's gotten a lot better. I don't see him slamming on the left foot brake anymore. I see him carrying through the course with proper momentum, and I applaud him for that. However, there is that to be brought up, which I don't want to cover anymore. So next up on today's 2024 perpetrators, I gotta pull up Hiroya Manoa, because if you could see any sort of post on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you will see people complaining about this man's driving. Now, Hiroya is a G. He's 14. He's from Japan. He's in FD USA. That is freaking insane. But there are some things with his driving that people are pointing out that are apparently becoming issues. So let's take a deep dive into it and really see what the issue might be. So first off, we're going to watch Osbo and Manoa. Manoa chasing Osbo. As you can see, his chase run is already brilliant. Tons of proximity, maybe not matching angle. As you can see, he's kind of doing a Y sort of motion. And now he's matching angle. Good Lord, that is nice. Yes, sir. That is good. Surging right onto the door. Beautiful, 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 beautiful chase run. And a beautiful lead run in order for the chase driver to chase. So now let's watch Hiroya's lead. So as you can see, Hiroya, a little bit of left foot brake, but it's not slowing him down. But that does catch off Osbo, him having to come up a little bit. Look at this. Woo. Nice. So the big mistake there being Osbo not being able to be on Manoa throughout that first corner. And let's take a quick look at that. So as we can see, Manoa is inherently slower, right? He's on the left foot brake, but I don't think he's slowing down with the left foot brake, more so settling out the car. His front tires aren't locking up a bunch, so meaning the car isn't inherently slowing down. He's just settling the car through the zone. And we see this through this zone as well as the other zones where he's just on the left foot brake, just settling out the car. So let's admit, Manoa is a bit slower. He's on the left foot brake. It's settling the car, but yes, it is also slowing him down. Not as drastically as Brutski, but yes, it is slowing the car down. But Manoa was able to make it to the finals this event. If he was slowing down so much to cause other people harm and doing it on purpose, wouldn't the judges have caught that and, docked him points for that sort of thing? He got second. He got a podium at this event. That's crazy. Crazy for the fact that if he was sandbagging, the judges would have docked him for it and how his driving is inconsistent. But somehow he was awarded for it? That doesn't really make any sense. So now we must move on to FD Seattle against Adam LZ, where we will see this happen once again. So as we can see, Manoa initiates all the acceleration. Nice and high on the bank. It's beautiful. Now LZ is shimmying, right? He's not consistent with the angle. His car is wicked up, as you can see, and he's having trouble keeping it behind Manoa. Especially there on the bank. Absolutely beautiful lead run by Manoa, but also a pretty solid run by LZ in the chase. Now, let's take a look at Manoa's chase against LZ. As you can see, LZ, beautiful initiation, and Manoa is right there. Look at that. Right there. Tons of angle by LZ. That was sick, honestly. Gangster right there. Gets in, and Manoa is right on the door. Absolutely insane. Whew. Transition was clean. Now again, as we saw there, Manoa was clearly slower than LZ. And if you look in the replay on the FD stream, Manoa's replay is behind LZ. Now, if we get really technical with it, Manoa lost a lot of his time on the bank. He was just a little slower because his car is, again, a lot more loose than LZ's. Now, is this an issue? To a lot of people, it seems like it is. Because I feel like we've forgotten the point of drifting, which is line, angle, and style. Nowhere in there is speed. Now, yes, the cars have gotten faster, and inherently the standard of how fast your car is going to be is getting to higher levels. However, if you watch that run, Manoa still wasn't super slow. I wouldn't even say he was slow. He took his time a little more, and it's the same with Novak and Gucci at Irwindale and Utah. They're just taking their time and placing their cars throughout the course. If anything, it leads to a better battle because that lead driver is allowing the chase driver to get closer to them. Now, let's take a look at some data that I have from FD New Jersey, where we could actually see the times that Manoa was putting down. So as we can see here, I have a nice, beautiful little Google sheet of some practice runs on, I want to say, Thursday during FD Pro. Now, if we look here, I have 2 runs by Manoa in the lead. Actually, I have 3. So these were measured from out of the start gate to the finish line. So run up to finish, and this bottom section is from start line to finish. Both of which are a little bit different measured because you could slow down in the run up. Anyway, I won't get into that. So if we see here, the notes on Manoa is damn near perfect lead run, and he ran a 22.22. So coming out of the gates to the finish line, 22.22. And then again, a 22.09. So relatively consistent. Now, if we look at the other times, this was the first practice session of the day. They're very similar. Some people were faster than others, but for the most part, it was in that 21 to 22 range. Now, if we look at later in the evening, we have Manoa doing a 20 from start line to finish line. And as we can see here, it is slower than other people. Sometimes over a second slower. As you can see with Matt Field, it is 2 seconds slower. So yes, Manoa is slower. Anyone with eyes can see that. But where am I trying to get at this? Well, let me wrap this video up with my assumption and what needs to be said about this whole situation. You see, Manoa, frankly, is not sandbagging because he is consistently slow. If he was sandbagging, he would be fast in practice and then he would be slow in battles, or vice versa. But he's not. He's consistently slow. And what should be happening is a better communication between other drivers, the team, and the spotter. Because the job as a spotter is to get as much data on other drivers as possible. So if I'm spotting at, say, FD Irwindale, and I see that Manoa is going 2 seconds slower than everyone else, I'm going to make note of that. So say my team does go against them during the top 8. I'm going to communicate to the team, hey, Manoa is 2 to 2.5 seconds slower than everyone else on the field. We should do something about this in order to win because we've been going against faster people, we're gripped up, etc., etc. I feel that lack of communication is what's causing the disruptive driving when people are chasing him. People, frankly, aren't loosening up their cars. And I feel that's just part of the game that's going to be more implemented. Manoa isn't doing anything wrong. He's fulfilling the zones. He's using throttle. He's not left foot braking a bunch to the point where he's slowing his car down to a crawl. He's still accelerating through the course. The primary issue here isn't that he's sandbagged. It's drivers having a lack of communication between their team and the spotter in order to say, hey, this dude is slow. We should take grip out of the car in order to stay behind them. Because guess what? If you're a pro level FD driver and you have a super wicked up car that you're already dooring people with, and then you take grip out of it to make it inherently a lot easier to drive and to still door the piss out of people with, you should be able to door them more than the other person. You should be able to door anyone to the extent where you're pushing their door in and then lay down a 100-point lead run day in, day out. So to sum up a quite long video, no. I don't think there's any sandbagging in Formula Drift happening. I simply think it's just a driving style that people aren't familiar with. And as time goes on, people will familiarize with it and this whole thing will go away. So with that said, I will admit it was kind of a long one, just going over the same ideas over and over again. But hey, the point of it was to get the point across. So if you have any questions, if you have any criticism, leave it down in the comments below. Like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you